You ate your last meal hours ago. Maybe you're doing it on purpose. Maybe you just got busy and forgot. Either way, something extraordinary is beginning, a transformation so precisely engineered your body has been running this program for hundreds of thousands of years. Let's go inside. The moment you finish eating, your pancreas fires a signal. It releases a molecule called insulin. Picture a master key. Every cell in your body has a lock shaped exactly to fit it. When insulin plugs in, the lock turns, the door opens, and glucose floods in. Your cells use that glucose like fuel pellets feeding a furnace. Energy out. Warmth. Movement. Thought. For the next 2 to 4 hours, this is the loop. You eat. Insulin rises. Glucose enters the cells. Furnaces run hot. But here's what most people never think about. What happens when the fuel delivery stops? Around the 4-hour mark, something shifts. The glucose you ate has been absorbed. Blood sugar starts to drop, not dangerously, just gradually, like a tide going out. Insulin levels fall with it. And when insulin drops below a certain threshold, it triggers a completely different system. Think of your liver as a warehouse. When you were eating and insulin was high, your liver was stacking shelves, taking extra glucose and packing it into dense bundles called glycogen. These bundles are emergency reserves, tightly wound, efficiently stored, stacked and waiting. Now with insulin low, the warehouse manager gets a new order, open the shelves and start shipping. Your liver begins to unpack those glycogen bundles, converting them back into glucose and releasing it into the bloodstream. Your blood sugar stays stable. You don't even feel it happening. Your muscles keep moving. Your brain keeps firing. The warehouse is covering for you. This process is called glycogenolysis, and it works flawlessly, but only for so long. By hour 12, the warehouse is running low. The glycogen stores are nearly depleted. If your liver were a gas station, the display would read, "Last few gallons." This is the threshold. This is where the body makes a decision that most humans never even register, but it is one of the most powerful metabolic pivots in your biology. It switches fuel sources entirely. Your body turns to fat. Here's where the visual gets interesting. Your fat cells, adipocytes, are not passive storage bags. They're active participants. And right now, with insulin low and glycogen running out, they receive a signal that says release. A hormone called glucagon, insulin's counterpart, is now dominant. It's the key that unlocks fat storage instead of building it. Fat cells begin to release fatty acids into the bloodstream. Picture thousands of tiny cargo ships unloading their containers into a river. Those fatty acids travel to the liver, and the liver, this organ that is never really resting, does something remarkable with them. It packages those fatty acids into a new kind of fuel molecule, ketones. Ketones are small, efficient, and water-soluble, which means they cross the blood-brain barrier easily. Your brain, which normally runs almost exclusively on glucose, starts accepting a new delivery. The ketones arrive. Neurons adapt. Cognition continues, and in many people, it sharpens. You have entered ketosis, the fat-burning state, the mode your ancestors lived in every time winter came and the food ran out. But fuel metabolism is only one part of the story, because fasting triggers something even more profound at the cellular level. Something so important it earned a Nobel Prize in 2016. It's called autophagy. The word comes from Greek, auto, meaning self, and phagon, meaning to eat, self-eating. It sounds alarming. It isn't. Here's the image you need. Inside every one of your cells, there are billions of components, proteins, organelles, molecular machines that do the work of keeping you alive. Over time, some of these components wear out. They malfunction. They get misfolded, damaged, stuck in broken configurations. Under normal circumstances, when insulin is high, when nutrients are flooding in, the cell doesn't have time for housekeeping. It's too busy building, growing, manufacturing. But during a fast, when the nutrient signal drops, the cell activates its maintenance crew. Autophagy dispatches tiny vehicles called autophagosomes, molecular suitcases that travel through the cell, identify damaged components, and fold around them. The suitcase closes. It merges with a lysosome, the cell's disposal and recycling unit. Inside, those damaged components are broken apart, and their raw materials are recovered, recycled, rebuilt. The cell is essentially eating its own waste to generate new parts. This is not destruction. It is renovation. It is the body's oldest repair system, running silent every time you stop giving it something new to process. Researchers now believe autophagy plays a central role in longevity, cancer resistance, neurodegeneration prevention, and immune resilience. And it activates meaningfully around the 16 to 18-hour mark of a fast, though this varies between individuals. Let's talk about what you actually feel. Between hours 12 and 18, many people notice a clarity, a kind of mental sharpening that feels almost paradoxical. You haven't eaten in almost a day. Shouldn't you feel foggy? No. And here's why. When blood sugar was cycling up and down with each meal, your brain was riding a roller coaster. Glucose spike, insulin response, glucose drop, hunger signal, repeat. That cycle creates noise. It creates the familiar mid-afternoon fog, the crash after lunch. Fasting removes the roller coaster. Ketones deliver a steady, quiet signal. No spike, no crash. Just clean, consistent fuel, and many people describe this phase as some of the most productive hours of their day. Your hunger hormones are also doing something counterintuitive. Ghrelin, the hormone most associated with hunger, peaks and then drops. Most people expect hunger to get worse the longer they fast. Instead, past a certain threshold, it stabilizes. The stomach growls for a moment, then quiets. The body understands it's in a different mode now. Meanwhile, in your immune system, the fast is doing maintenance of a different kind. White blood cells, your body's security force, begin to be cleared out and regenerated. Some research suggests that extended fasting can trigger a reset in hematopoietic stem cells, the factories that produce immune cells. The old guards retire. Fresher cells are produced. The immune system doesn't just maintain, it renews. Think of it like a security company replacing its entire patrol roster with a younger, sharper team. Your inflammatory markers are dropping too. Chronic low-grade inflammation. The slow, invisible fire that researchers now link to heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and accelerated aging begins to calm during extended fasting. Insulin, when chronically elevated from frequent eating, drives inflammatory signaling. Lower insulin means quieter inflammation. The fire dims. By hour 24, if you've reached it, your body is running an almost entirely different operating system from the one it used at the start of your last meal. Insulin is low. Glucagon is high. Fat is being mobilized. Ketones are circulating. Autophagy is active. Inflammatory pathways are quieter. Growth hormone, the same hormone that builds muscle, burns fat, and drives cellular repair, has spiked significantly. Some studies show a 5-fold increase in growth hormone levels during a 24-hour fast. The body is not breaking down. It is rebuilding. The refeeding process matters just as much as the fast itself. When you eat again, insulin rises. Autophagy slows. Your cells shift out of repair mode and back into growth mode, and this is exactly right. The power of fasting comes not from staying in the fasted state forever, but from the oscillation. Stress, recovery. Stress, recovery. Like a muscle trained with resistance, the cells that go through the cycle of deprivation and renewal come out more efficient, more resilient. Here is what you now understand that most people don't. Fasting is not an absence. It is an activation. Every hour without food is not your body suffering. It is your body running programs so ancient and precise that no pharmaceutical has ever replicated them. The lock and key of insulin. The warehouse logic of glycogen. The cargo ships of fatty acids. The self-eating suitcases of autophagy. The dimming fire of inflammation. The surging architecture of growth hormone. None of this requires a supplement. None of this requires a prescription. It requires only one thing. Stopping. Stopping the intake. Letting the system run. Trusting a 300,000-year-old operating system to do exactly what it was built to do. Your body knows how to fast. It always has. You just have to give it the chance.